Hmm.
So what evidence make you convince that God exists? Like what kind of evidence you look for?
As I said, that depends on the claim about God's existence, right? And you said that God is something supernatural. I don't even know how to evaluate that claim because I don't know what supernatural means. I'm pretty sure even you don't know what supernatural means.
Supernatural, that's I said
Like for
beyond
example,
natural
let me
laws.
make it simple. Let me make it
Hmm.
simple. If if I ask you where you are from and you said Kochi, right?
Hmm.
I have heard of Kochi. I'm able to form in my mind an image of someone coming from Kochi. So it's not an extraordinary leap to accept your claim, right? If you said you're from the moon, I would have a little more difficulty accepting it because I know for a fact that there are no human beings on moon, at least right now.
Hmm.
But I'm still kind of sort of able to form in my mind a possibility of you coming from the moon, spacesuit, space station, all that. If you said you coming out from outside the universe, there is nothing I can do to convince myself about that, right? The
Hmm.
problem with the claim that God is supernatural is that only, that I cannot in any way even understand what you are saying, let alone believing it.
So, um, like you still did not answer. Like you don't know how to
I don't
like
understand your question. That is my point. When you say that God is supernatural, I don't know what you mean.
supernatural
And
beyond
if I don't
natural
know,
laws, right? So
yeah,
beyond
but what is
the
that? What is
universe.
that? All we know is nature. What do you mean
Hmm.
by supernatural? How do you know there is something beyond nature?
So you say there is no supernatural.
No, I'm saying I'm asking you,
Hmm.
what is supernatural? How can we know that there is something beyond nature? Once you explain that, I will be able to ask you more questions about it.
Vimo,
I'm not
so
rejecting it. I'm asking
yeah,
you.
yes, correct, Vimo. So I can be wrong, right? Like my definition or like my belief, my faith
Yeah.
can be wrong.
I could also be
So
wrong. You
in
could
your
also be wrong. Yeah, move past it.
no, not like that. Like we're not. So you are like I'm trying to understand like what kind of evidence would, for
Mhm,
example, if there is a supernatural being, so
mhm.
what kind of evidence would you require? Like it's
I
clear
will
that
need
that's
to
beyond.
see,
Hmm.
Christian Prince. I'm trying to understand what you mean by that. Let me give you another example. Kukudu kudu, pupudu pudu.
Hmm. So
Answer
I'm
me.
not giving like you really like don't
No,
understand
I'm. I
what I
just
mean
asked
by
you a question.
supernatural.
I just
Yeah,
asked you
yeah.
a question. Kukudu kudu, pupudu pudu.
Yeah,
Answer it.
I got your point. Yeah, I got your
Yeah,
point, Vimo.
yeah.
But so you really don't understand what I mean by supernatural.
I'm asking if you know what you mean by supernatural.
So I'm giving a literal example, literal meaning of that.
Go
Um,
ahead, do it. Huh?
so yeah, that's what I said. Like it's something beyond natural laws. Some,
That's not a meaning. That's like, how do you know there is something beyond nature? How do you know there is something beyond nature? All we know is nature, right? You're saying
mhm.
something beyond nature. I don't even need know how to comprehend that. And you are talking about it as if you know that it exists. How?
So there is no such thing cold, right? Do you know that, right?
There is no such thing?
Cold, like cold, hot.
Uh-huh, huh, yeah.
There is no
They're
such
not
thing
object.
scientifically.
They're not objects that we can hold. They're descriptions of a condition.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah,
things that we can
exactly.
hold in our hand, obviously.
Yeah, so that's exactly I'm saying like this is it's the description of a supernatural being. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
no, no, no.
Like
This
it's
does not
beyond.
apply because if you get cold and you say I got cold, I understand what you mean by that. If you say supernatural, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Beyond nature,
What is there
for
beyond
example,
nature? Where is it? What is there beyond nature? Can you give me an example of
God.
something that is beyond nature?
Yeah, like I would say God, right? Of course.
Yeah, but
So
that's like
okay, so
building.
let's conclude this one.
You're kind of building castles in the air, man. I say, hey, how can this castle be standing? You say, no, no, forget about that. This castle has 4 floors now. Yeah, but how can the castle be there? It has now 6 floors. You are continuing to build on top of that, and I don't know what you mean by that. And
So
it's kind of also begging the question, right? Your purpose is to prove that God exists. You say in order to prove that God exists, that God is supernatural, and I say, what is supernatural? You say supernatural is God. It reminds me of that story. Ki the teacher asked the student, where is your house? It is near the pond. नहीं सॉरी, हिंदी में ज्यादा इट मेक सेंस. तुम्हारा घर कहाँ है? तालाब के पास. तालाब कहाँ है? पोस्ट ऑफिस के पास. दोनों कहाँ है? आस पास. how,
Okay.
how would
मेरे
I
को
understand
मेरे
what
को
you're saying?
Yeah. So you also believe in, for example, if okay, so if we think, if we take that supernatural being is not
Mhm.
existed, so
I'm
so
not
you
saying that.
believe in,
I'm not
you're
saying
not saying.
supernatural beings don't exist. I'm asking you what you mean by it and how can we know anything about it.
So as an agnostic atheist, you believe that
Mhm.
we cannot know that whether God exists or not,
I'm not
and
saying
we
we
cannot
cannot
claim
know. I'm not saying we cannot know. I'm saying we don't know. Maybe we can. I'm
we
saying
can
we
know.
don't know. Right now, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the same time, you also believe in Big Bang.
I don't believe in Big Bang. Big Bang is the label applied to a certain cosmic condition that has been described by scientists using those words. It was the rapid expansion of space and time at some point of time, roughly 14 billion years ago.
So you don't even believe that. Like, how do you think we exist here, or life formed, or
I just told you, I just told you it has nothing to do with belief. We know that the Big Bang happened. We have observational data on it.
whoa? So we don't have any observational data for that
We do.
scientifically.
We do. We have a cosmic microwave background radiation that points in the direction of the universe having expanded at some point of time 14 billion years ago. We
Hmm.
right now even have telescopic information about the first light that came into the universe, the oldest light in the universe. All this seems to point in the general direction of the fact that at some point in the our past, the universe began to expand and it is where it is right now. That is
So
observational data.
it's about the expansion of that, right? But there is no direct observational evidence for Big Bang. That's what I'm
We know that it
asking.
happened. We don't know how it happened. Yes.
So scientists are saying that based on these equations,
Mhm,
so they're saying it might have happened like this, but
mhm.
it's not observational, and it never been
It is
observed.
okay. So let me put it this way: it is as
Mhm.
close to observational as it can be. There are some things we cannot know. We do know that the universe began expanding and it is still expanding. So we can turn back the clock and assume that at some point of time this expansion started. Unless you want to say that the Big Bang did not happen, right? That's not what you're saying.
Yeah, I do say that, of course. As a Christian, I would say that, but
You're saying that the
um,
Big Bang did not happen?
so it happened means like God created that, like
So
God
that
made
is a
it.
claim, right? That is the claim for which where there is no evidence.
Even
We
even
know
a
that the
sign.
thing happened. See, here's the thing. The difference between you and me is that I'm saying the thing happened. You're agreeing that the thing happened, but then you're adding something on top of it. You're saying that your God did it. And I'm saying I don't know if your God did it or I don't know anything about how it happened.
Okay, so but in like through science, we cannot also prove that Big Bang. It's all theory. Like based on these equations, it might happen like this. This is what scientists say that, and
Yeah, and
also
at least
and also
so
origin
there
of
are two
life.
things. There is a scientific theory for which there is at least the equations, and then there is your theory for which there is nothing except speculation.
So that's where belief come into play, right? So you
So
also believe.
belief is not an so belief cannot lead you to accurate conclusions about reality. You can
But
believe anything. You can believe anything. Hindus don't believe the way you do, but they also believe. Muslims also believe. But that's not the method to evaluate reality, right? You cannot do it with belief. If you don't know something, you should just say, I don't know. And when we know more, we will know more.
mhm.
Why believe anything? What is the point of believing?
Yeah, so but my point is, like we see the same similar things here, like in your view and my view, because it all depending on the faith or belief. So
Hmm? Can you
if you're
repeat that?
believing,
Can you repeat
yes,
that?
yeah, sure. So your view and my view, for
Hmm.
example, God and agnostic atheism. So you're believing that Big Bang happened like this, the way the scientists says.
Based on some evidence, yes.
That's not evidence. Like,
It
We cannot
is.
call
It
that.
is
No, no,
evidence.
no.
It is. Listen, we at least you agreed that we have equations and speculations and projections, right?
Hmm.
Do you have any of those for God?
So I
Any
agree. We
mathematical
cannot.
equation that
So,
points in the general direction of an intelligent being who caused the Big Bang? Any of it? Do you have it?
so like it's very obvious that we cannot test supernatural things with the natural
We
science.
cannot even know what a supernatural thing is. Forget testing it. That is what our previous conversation was about. Unless,
Yeah.
see, unless in order to evaluate something, you need a clear definition of it. All you have given me in the name of a definition of supernatural is that it is something beyond nature, which can be anything or maybe nothing.